Unbelievable. I
I'm
gotta
in
say,
condition, kind of smaller. You don't need to
I
be
think
300
he looks
pounds.
better here
Yeah.
than he did at the Arnold. You have a similar structure. You're not as tall as him, and you might not be as big as him, but your structure is pretty much the same. Do you agree?
Yeah, yeah. Mike gets a lot of shit. People they call him the 212 guy, but no, he has an amazing structure. I think he's got one of the best front doubles.
We have
No
here
complaints. No
Ruff
complaints.
Diesel.
Oh, Lordy.
I knew 100% he's going to be with a hat.
Oh, I could
Well,
flip the hat around. There we go.
That's good. It's a signature.
Oh,
yeah, yeah. How you doing, champ?
I'm good. I'm good. Just trying to get everything in order before we get too close to the show. Been
Yeah,
real busy the last couple weeks.
yeah. I was just talking to Munoz because he just had a hip replacement.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
He's just going through, and it's been for how long now? 2 weeks?
No, it's 10 days. Yeah. So, Terrence, before you came, I was telling everything was doing good. I was walking without a walker. And then I decided to go like shopping with my daughter without a walker,
Uh-oh.
thinking I can do it. And halfway there in the middle of a Walmart, I regretted. I was like, oh, what now? I wish I did that.
Did you
They
get
have
into
a
You
car.
could get the
that
buggy, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but
buggy?
I didn't. I
No.
suffered out and yeah, I suffered the last couple of days.
Oh, yes. Are you supposed to still be in pain now? 10 days later?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And you're supposed to have a difficulty is you walk to your comfort. As soon as it start hurting, you should stop, right? But I didn't expect it's going to start hurting, and it did way too early. And now I had a next 1,000 steps to make. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh
Wow.
well, live and learn. So today I'm
Terrence,
completely off.
Terrence, how you feel, man? We got what, 5.5 weeks out?
I feel pretty good. No complaints. Is my screen's a little fuzzy.
Yeah, it's probably because you're sitting against the sun or no, with the sun.
I got a little light on me.
It's okay now. We can see you.
Okay.
So, so listen, this must be the first Olympia you're doing without an Olympia champion.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
First time you're going for a vacant title.
Hmm.
Mhm.
So how do you feel, man, going in, knowing now Earth is gone,
Mhm.
but there's only, there's one less to worry about. Let's say, let's put it this way. So, but how do you feel? Before you answer that question, I just want to say one thing, and this is what I said before Pittsburgh. And I'm gonna still say it now because I see again how I don't know. Did you see the video? Did Milo see the pictures he posted where you can see how full he is,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
his height and his body weight, really, really full and round.
Hmm.
And I said at that because we all talk who's the favorite to going in, to win the Olympia. And when we look at it, of course, right now with winning the Arnold and being second last year, that's got to be Mike Sommerfeld, right? And I said, because who is there who could possibly beat him? And there's a few probably that could if it's not on. But
Yeah.
when I compare shapes, structures, it's you. For me, you have a similar structure. You're not as tall as him, and you might not be as big as him, but your structure is pretty much the same. Do you agree?
Yeah, yeah. Mike gets a lot of shit. People they call him the 212 guy, but no, he has an amazing structure. I think he's got one of the best front doubles, in the league. And if the front lat spread was opposed, he would probably have the best front lat spread too. Um, yeah, I think structurally he is one of the best guys. There's a lot of guys that may be able to, match him with size, but in terms of structure, there's not many.
Maybe Carter can put the video up real quick because I want to look at it one more time, and then I want to ask you one question. Carter, do you have Mike guest posing? I think it's Spain. Yeah, that was him. Was it 2 weeks ago? 2 weeks or a week and a half? I don't know. It was a Spain show, so it's not this past weekend, the weekend before that. That was him doing a not planned guest posing, basically just jumped on stage. And,
Okay.
when you look at him now, this let's say 6 or 7 weeks out, whatever it was, When you go to the gym and you train, and when you see him, can you beat this?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the last time we were on stage, I beat him, and I beat him 11 pounds lighter, you know?
Hmm.
So, obviously he's improved since then, I have as well. So, um, I think any man can be beaten. I'm the only man that's beaten every man on stage that's ever been on the Olympia stage. So,
True, true.
yeah, yeah. Things like that about guys being unbeatable, I don't agree with.
Yeah. Thanks, Carter. Appreciate it. Yeah, I think this is probably gonna be the best classic physique Olympia we ever had. Just because it's vacant and
Yeah,
there's so many great guys that could potentially win that title.
100%. Yeah.
Every year, classic is a highlight. Every year, those guys are in best condition, best performances, posing, they bring the house down. I mean, there was 30 guys last year. They were one better than the other. Just to make a top 10, it was like, and then you see a guy that was 20, and how is he not in the top five? That
Yeah.
kind of quality.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
agree. I agree.
But Terrence, okay, this is a little philosophical question. If you compete with Mike at the same day, and first contest is on 212 stage with the 212 bodybuilding rules, and then you guys switch to the classic physique and compete there as a classic. How would you judge? Would it be the same score or you would see it differently?
I think for the most part, it's the same. I know a lot of people like to, and I have seen some judging calls where I would say classic is judged differently. Like one in particular was the first year Chris won. Personally, I would have had Breon take that. So I have seen shows where, you can argue that classic is judged differently, but overall, I think classic is bodybuilding, size, shape, structure, symmetry, conditioning, all that stuff still matters. And I think even if you want to argue that classic is judged differently, I think that's the way bodybuilding should be judged, not just size over everything. And I think you agree with that,
Oh,
Uh,
100%. Look at him.
yeah, yeah. So, personally, like I would say it should be judged the same, but I'm not a judge, so I could see it being judged differently. But you got guys like Keone now. I mean, Keone is structurally one of the best bodybuilders on the planet. Doesn't matter what division, and they're rewarding that. Samson is another guy that they're rewarding for his. Obviously, he's huge, but his structure as well. So, no, I personally think it should be judged the same.
Okay, so another tricky question.
Okay.
Would Keon step on the classic physique stage and compete?
I mean, weight wise, no, but structurally, I would imagine so.
I thought he is still close to the.
No,
No, no,
he's
no. He's
he's
way under the 212, but not the
yeah,
classic.
yeah.
But
He's
how
my
much?
height, and his my cutoff is 187, and his last year I think he was 202.
The first year he won, he was 193.
So yeah, he's still barely over, but a little over.
I think I remember correctly, he was 193. He just sent me another update today.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because the reason I'm saying Keon is as classic as they come, right?
Yeah.
That's just the beauty of bodybuilding. And if he could make it on the classic physique stage too, now I see he would be overweight, so he can make it. But that was the argument that he could actually compete in all three, 212, open, and classic.
Personally, I think that's the way when you have like great physiques, they usually can transcend divisions. You got, obviously him. Guys like Hottie, Derek, Bonac, who went from 202, 212 to the open. Even in the women's division, you had people like Shanique Grant, go from figure, turning pro and figure to winning women's physique and now going to the Olympian wellness. So I
Yeah.
think it's possible. You just got to have that top tier in genetics.
She has crazy physique. I'm still blown away that she lost that women's physique
Agree.
that year.
Yeah.
That's for me Flex Wheeler of a woman's physique.
Oh,
Yeah,
for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
she was. I guess because she didn't want to go that extra mile to get that
That hardness.
super hard. Yeah, she didn't want to do that, and she was really young too.
Yeah.
I think she was in her early 20s when she retired.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, Terrence, if you were in Prague judging Martin versus Chris, what would happen?
I had Chris winning, to be honest with you. I
Yeah.
think I mean, I talked to a lot of people about it, a lot of coaches, a lot of pros, a lot of them, had the same opinion, okay, yeah, yeah. I 100% had Chris winning. If Martin was on, it might have been a different story, but in my opinion, Chris really nailed it that show.
Okay, another thing, and Dennis, I promise I'm not going to talk about symmetry, muscularity, posing around
Okay.
in
Hey, that
open bodybuilding.
that
Just little,
edit button is right here.
just little question again.
Mute and delete is right
Yeah.
here.
Don't you think that posing routines should be judged in a classic?
I can see the argument for it. My only fear is like once you get to a certain level of posing, it's just preference, you know what I mean? So say for instance, you got I mean, I'm trying to think of a good example. Maybe like a really good Lee Labrada routine and Francis Benfado routine, like
Hmm?
or even a Bob Harris. Like they all have really, really great routines. It's just do you like a certain thing more than the other, because they all have different styles. It's almost like an artist, like a Van Gogh versus a Rembrandt. They're great artists, but what style do you like better? I mean, if it's graded in a way like one, it's a very small portion of the score, and two, I think you can give it shouldn't be like a first, second, third. It should be maybe like a 10 out of 10, like everyone can get like a 10 out of 10 if they have a great routine. But I'm open to it. It's just tough.
Yeah. How
Yeah.
much a day do you pose?
I pose mandatories daily, routines, like freestyle, like 3 times a week. And like on those days, I usually post for like an hour a day.
And you always have a new routine. So are you going to do new routine at the Olympia?
I have a nice one picked out. I'm doing uh a remix to a Beethoven song. So I like it because
Tiffany?
it's I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, but Fur Elise.
A few days. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's I like it because it's like a remix, and I feel like classic is like a remix of like old school bodybuilding. So I feel like it fits really well.
From Morbius? From
Let's
Morbius
welcome,
movie?
let's welcome Jose Raymond to the show.
Yo,
Yeah.
You
What's
never
up, guys?
how you doing?
text
I'm
me.
great.
He texted
My
me.
apologies. I for
You don't
some
know.
reason that email didn't go through.
You don't know how to look in the spam folder. That's probably what it is.
Yeah, I was trying. My
You don't have
fingers
a
were
spam
fumbling.
folder, right? You don't have one.
It's a trash. I looked in the trash.
No, the trash is what you delete.
Oh, junk.
Have to look into spam or junk.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's how I found it.
Okay, okay.
And then I just had you send it again.
Yeah,
Oh, what?
yeah. Well, I'm glad you made it. So we just
Yeah.
basically we just had a quick video up from Mike's guest posing like a week and a half or 2 weeks ago. And I just had a straight question for Terrence. I said, Terrence, can you beat this? He said, absolutely, he could. So I think, what do you think for the Classic Olympia this year? Is this not the best Classic Olympia we'll probably ever had?
I think so because the king is gone,
Hmm.
right? And there's so many guys that are getting better and better and better. And if Mike doesn't nail it, he's got guys barking up his tree. And I find Mike to look more like a bodybuilder. He's so round and like big
Yeah.
that I don't look at him as classic, but he does. He poses classic, and he's got a tight waist,
You
but he's
also got
just
in mind, you also got to keep in mind, he still has to drop about, what was it? 8, 9, 10, whatever pounds. And he
yeah,
so he's still it's gonna come down just a little bit, you know.
Okay.
yeah.
My view is that if Mike and Terrence compete in two shows in bodybuilding 212, Mike is going to beat him.
Okay.
And if it's a classic, Terrence is going to beat him. if judges make this distinction, okay, here we are looking for a little bit more muscle and density, and then there are a couple of more poses, front lat spread, back lat spread, where Mike is so superior. But classic here is structure and shape, and there's no more classic lines than the Terrence, even though the Mike is a little bit wider, so maybe a little bit more V taper. Just
Mhm.
classic doesn't require to be this wide and with this little waist. So that's why I'm saying if they compete at 212, I think Mike would beat him. But if they would compete at classic, Terrence has a
Oh,
chance.
and that's where they compete. They compete in classic. So I think
Well, shoot, we need to get you on the judging panel then, Milos. We good to go.
Okay.
I can see, and this is just me looking into the future right now, in the next 5.5 weeks. I can see this being a battle between you and Mike from prejudging all the way to the finals. Now, keep in mind, I don't know what Ramon is going to look like because he
Yeah.
looked like he put on some tremendous
He's
size,
he's huge, yeah.
but he always has to suffer and struggle to make weight.
Mhm.
Hmm.
So what is that going to do for him to post these pictures or videos, and then he's going to have to suffer another 15 to 18 pounds, bring that down, and then he's going to be half of what he looked like in the photos. I don't know if that's the case, then I don't think he can beat you two guys. But if you had to choose one or two more guys other than the three that I just mentioned, other than you, give me two more that you think definitely they will be in the top five.
I think I think a couple. So like Niall Darwin from the UK,
Uh-huh.
incredible structure. Um, Obviously Jose. Jose conditioning wise is amazing. And I'm hoping for Logan, man. Logan pushed, Logan conditioning wise was also really, really crazy. When I saw him at the Arnold next to
Yeah.
Mike, and one of the craziest things I've seen in person.
Yeah.
So, the only other person, obviously, Breon, I don't think he's ever been out of the top five. He decided to stay in classic a little while longer. So I would say those guys are my top picks.
Yeah. I mean, we can all agree that in the whole classic lineup, there's 15 guys that potentially should be in the top five.
Yeah, yeah,
Just shape wise, condition wise, and for complete packages. It's unbelievable. So Jose Ormilos, look at Jose Ma. That's the guy from Spain, that young kid from Spain that brings condition. This is like next level.
yeah,
I don't think you can get harder than he is. And it showed in Pittsburgh. It
yeah.
showed. For you, it was your structure that beat him. That's classic. But his condition was just like he was like, fuck, how the fuck can you get this hard?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What do you have to do to get this hard? I mean, is this like genetics or
It's
is
got
this
to be. He's
It's
so
genetic
young.
for sure. Yeah.
Most kids that age, what's he, 23?
there's something,
23, 24. Yeah.
Yeah, it takes years to get that hard unless it's in your genetics.
yeah,
Yeah.
That's
especially
just wild.
this is
Yeah.
ridiculous. And in person, it's like damn, it's unbelievable. If
No, I
you're not
agree.
in
I
good
agree.
shape, you're gonna look smooth next to him.
And
That was
I come in good shape, but like you got someone with the best, conditioning probably in the sport. You makes you look bad.
Yeah, exactly. The levels of conditioning. Look, Mike Sommerfeld was in great condition at Arnold, but
Logan.
Logan's condition was next level.
Logan, Logan he leveled up one level from there. So
Yeah,
and that's where
it's Jose Manuel, Bessemer. Hey,
I would I wouldn't be surprised if Logan is in the top five.
Yeah,
okay.
I agree.
Yeah, I
He's
see.
he's gotten bigger too since Arnold. Like I've been seeing, he's out here in Houston with me. I see him at least once a week, and I definitely think he's grown since that show.
If he
is
can
he
bring
near his weight cap?
At the Arnold, no. He puts on weight really slow I mean, because he stays so lean year round. Like I've never seen anyone stay as shredded as he does. I'm not sure how close he is, but I know he wasn't too close at the Arnold.
Yeah,
So
he's really tall.
Yeah, I don't know how tall he is, but yeah,
who knows how
he's got a
tall he
good
is.
height. Yeah,
5'11", I think 6. Yes.
Yeah, I thought he was taller than. I thought he was like 6'1".
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I thought he was like Ursa's height.
Yeah,
He's maybe a little shorter than ours.
really.
I think so.
Well, maybe he's got long limbs.
Mhm.
He looks really tall. I want to ask you a question here. How do you feel Pittsburgh was as far as was that your best of all time?
Well, based on the judge, they said the next week in New York was the best of all time. So, I was a little flat going into Pittsburgh, and we filled out a bit. So, I was lucky because we did Pittsburgh. Obviously I won by 1 point, and then just for fun, I did the guest posing thing that they do at
I
Pittsburgh.
was just about to say that because I was going to say your best was the next day when you got on that stage.
Yeah, yeah. So that's what they told me. They said, "Man, if you should have brought this look yesterday," and I was like,
Huh,
"Okay." And then so
that
like,
was it right there because I
yeah,
was doing the live broadcast. I was right in front of the stage. So
ah,
I said, because yeah, it was me, Ford, and Ian.
hmm
We did the live broadcast, and we of course we covered the show. And of course, you mean for me, you were the clear winner because I judge by shape and not just
okay,
condition. But the next day when you step on that stage as a guest poser, I said, look at that shit. That's
okay.
what I said, damn, because you can get hard too. It's a little harder for you to tell depending on what light
So
because
that's a
you
big thing, yeah. Hmm.
but when you really look at it, you are right there. You have all the striations, you have everything. You just
Hmm.
need the perfect light.
So it's funny. I mean, like back in the day, Arnold, when he went against Sergio, he complained about I think the backdrop and everything like that. So he would look the best. I reached out to some of the lighting people at the Olympia, and I was like, hey, if you guys need because they usually have like a model for the lighting, and I'm like, if you guys need a model, like hit me up. Like I don't care what day it is,
Yeah.
because yeah, I've noticed that over the years the lighting is a big deal because typically they go for like in the middle. Like it makes sense. You want like a person choose the best lighting for the middle but like you got guys on the far end like me, or you have someone really really pale, and then we kind of suffer.
Mhm.
So it's life. It is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
What
But
do you
yeah,
think it was that made him harder the next day?
I think because
I
the
just ate.
stress was gone and he
Yeah.
had probably a meal and
Yeah, I
laid
ate.
down and got some good sleep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
He
yeah.
just wanted to check. So, you can go to sleep on that.
yeah,
You know how, Jose, everybody at that level, conditioning, conditioning, conditioning. So you go conservative and maybe a little underdo it. And then
Mhm.
right after the show, you have a freedom to have a couple more meals and drinks. And then usually 90% of people look better next day when they're relaxed.
And
You know?
yeah.
don't we all say the same thing then? I said, this is what I'm going to do
Yeah,
next time.
I wish I
And when
did
you get to
this.
that day before the show, you shit your pants because you're scared to do
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Every time, you
it.
know?
Yeah.
But
Have some pancakes.
so Jose, Terrence said that back in 2018, I believe, he thought that Brian could have beat Chris Bumstead in the
No, he said he should have, not could have.
could have, should have. I think that George Peterson could also at that show beat him. So when I was viewing this as a okay bodybuilding show, and I was thinking classic bodybuilding, it's still muscle, it's still back double biceps. You have to have a back, you have to have a biceps. Those guys were killing Chris in back and the
Yeah.
biceps from the front,
Mhm.
from the back, right?
Right.
No, no. So this is classic physique, not classic bodybuilding, and we're looking for structure. And it's more that two-dimensional, not three-dimensional. This is why
Interesting.
also I say in a, 212 bodybuilding show, maybe Mike would beat you for being a more 3D and thicker, and here is shape only, aesthetics only. So
Okay.
That's
it's
the
going
year where Chris lost half his followers, I think, because he was speaking out on that and he got all the
Yeah, I remember. I remember. I was like, oh.
What did he say?
Chris was no, he didn't say no. He was just mad, saying that Breon should have won, and all. Can you imagine all the Chris Bumstead fans? Oh,
Oh
they,
yeah,
Yeah,
they
they
jumped on
attacked
yeah,
Chris
him.
like on a grasshopper.
yeah. Well, they're
Yeah,
such different looks.
totally.
Breon's got huge arms, bubbly. You know, great, beautiful look. But Chris is statuesque and so tall and wide.
He
It
wasn't as
depends
good
what you
as
like.
he got the following year. Remember
The
Milos when he
next year,
Yeah,
you know,
100%. Yeah.
his back? Like he improved his back in 1 year like no other.
Yeah.
But that year, I also thought that Breon should.
yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
but we're bodybuilders. When we say something like this, people don't care because because you're a fucking bodybuilder, the bigger guy,
Yeah.
you
But
know.
even judging it in bodybuilding, listen, we have these discrepancies also. But when you really start saying, okay, you two, who has the better biceps? Who has the better triceps? Who has the better chest? Who has the better back? And blah, 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 blah. And you end up being like, 10 muscles to two, but guy number two wins.
Yeah,
Hmm.
Because we
yeah.
can
You
go
can't
names
compare the
by names,
classes
and
like you
you'll
can
realize
compare.
that.
Yeah,
Uh,
trust me, you can't compare them like you can compare bodybuilders. You can't compare by body parts. It's
Yeah.
got to. But talking about bodybuilding, if Carter can do me a favor and put the guest posing up, man, what did Samson do this past weekend?
he did his job.
Did he tell the world, guys, you don't piss someone off?
Yeah.
His
Huh?
waist looked incredible.
That's
Yeah,
what
That's what I noticed the most.
Yeah,
yeah,
everybody kept telling him, so he is giving everybody what they're asking for.
unbelievable. I
Come
gotta
in
say,
condition, kind of smaller. You don't need to
I
be
think
300
he looks
pounds.
better here
Yeah,
than he did at the Arnold.
for
I
sure.
do too. Yeah, that's really impressive. And the legs are still huge.
Still, I mean, and listen, that to me is what Milan's been talking about all these fucking years,
Yeah.
you know, and just this is why I said I still have him winning the Olympia because I think losing the Arnold lit a fire, and he's going to
Exactly.
So you
prove
see,
a point.
physique like this cannot be beaten by the physique. It can be beaten by other elements, like conditioning
Okay.
and these kind of things.
Look at that. His hamstrings look tighter here than they did last time on stage.
That's what I'm saying. I think he's better now than he was at the Arnold in March. And
Oh yeah.
there's pictures where they compare even videos where they compare Arnold
Look,
to
look at the
That is
pose.
sensational.
Yeah.
Look at those angles. I'm sure Terrence is gonna appreciate. That's unconventional stance.
Yeah, Samson's definitely the best poser in open bodybuilding today,
Ooh,
you
absolutely.
know.
Yeah, I think he just let everybody know as a guys, he's letting people know what Derek said uh, uh, over a year ago at the Olympia battle that everybody else is fighting for two and three. You remember when Derek said that in a video? They were him, Samson, and Nick, and he thought that the tape was off. They said the microphone was off, and he said they're only fighting for two and three. You don't remember that?
No.
Yeah,
And then he ended up in third.
Oh,
it's
oh,
nice to be confident, but
But Derek is
it
confident
sucks to
too,
be arrogant and cocky.
But
Yeah,
Derek is confident too, and he has every right to be confident because he won.
100%.
Because the way he looked at the Arnold, I mean, I was my mouth was wide open. But can he beat a Samson if he comes in at 100%? I don't think so.
yeah. Even 90%.
Oh, damn.
Under 90, maybe. Under
Yeah.
90, maybe.
So where does that leave Hardy now?
I tell you this, if you analyze, they are all in running. They all have something else to bring. You see Nick Walker looking like a fucking
Nick is
crazy
insane.
real life Hulk. I mean, Jesus Christ, that was as morph of a human body as can be. Monster.
Hmm.
Hey, and if they appreciate it, and that's so impressive, and audience goes wild, and it's just raw, dry muscle and all these crazy body parts. That's what he brings. Samson, most beautiful physique, most complete, enough size. He just needs to get a little bit more conditioning. Hardy brings crazy conditioning at all times. I said it before. I don't think that Derek ever really beat Hardy. They just gave him that one time. Because if I was a judge and you consider everything, how can you possibly, from the front, all the striations, definition, hardness, the polishment that Hardy has, uh, can be taken over for back double bicep shot of a Derek. So
Ah,
And Derek surprised us all at Arnold and beat Samson, and we didn't believe it. Dennis, you and I, we didn't believe it. Chris was saying he
Yeah.
had a chance, and he delivered it. He made me a believer. So I do believe that all of those guys are bringing something that if judges go for that.
Well, who'd y'all have winning? What was it Pittsburgh? Nick or
No,
Derek?
we went
Yeah,
through this about 50 times. I
yeah.
Yeah,
had Nick winning. I had Nick winning. Jose had Derek winning.
Derek. Yeah.
Jose wasn't there. He watched from fucking 3,000 miles away.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? He watched with the blurry fucking screen. No, no, no.
it's
I mean, it
true.
was listen. It was literally a tie for I don't know a few rounds.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah,
had
for
a
me,
Derek. I had a
uh,
Derek, but I was also just watching from the screen.
yeah,
Uh,
and I was watching from the front. So and I tell you this, and sometimes it's just crazy how you have a two-man call out, right? It's just two guys. So
mhm.
they're literally both in the middle, right? So now they do this round and then they switch him, and then the other guy looks better than the other guy because he's standing on the left. It's
Okay.
literally that's how much the light can change your physique.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you go one step to the side, it changes you because when they both turned around, back double biceps, when Nick was standing on the left, I thought his back double biceps was better than Derek's.
Hmm.
And I'm not just judging the back, I'm judging the whole body, right? And they kept moving him around, and when they moved him around, you can see that this one is getting better. He moved him back to the other side. This one's gotten better. It's just crazy. It was so close that I think the head judge had to decide at the end because it was a tie. It was all judges were tied. So the head judge makes a decision, and his decision was Derek. That's the end of it. But Derek was slightly off from the Arnold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
I don't know what he would if he would have been in Arnold conditioning, it might have probably wouldn't have been that close, you know. But then again, so was Samson. He was way off at the Arnold, even though he thought he was better, but he was off at the Arnold.
Yeah.
So Samson,
Prejudging. It's
huh?
prejudging. Finals,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
finals was a different story.
But
I
yeah,
think with Derek needs to be very careful with his, the last few weeks into a show. And, when his legs are even a half inch off, it throws him off. His legs have to be blasting full along with that condition. And I think in Pittsburgh, his legs were down just a little bit, just a hair from the Arnold. And it was enough to make people think, wow, Nick can beat him.
yeah, yeah,
And he's very sensitive, like, because the legs are the newest muscle on him. His back was always pretty good, especially later in the 212 in his first few years. His legs have really grown now, but they're still new. And if you pound cardio and starve, they shrivel up.
yeah.
So he's got to be very careful going into the Olympia. These last, 6 weeks now?
Five
I've
and a
been-
half.
Five and a
Yeah.
half, yeah.
yeah. So
Wow.
we literally have two more qualifiers. We have one this weekend in Italy, and then we got the
France.
European that I'm doing next week, the week after in Germany. And did you see the lineup?
Yeah, I saw this
Let's
morning.
put it up. Let's put up the lineup for the pro muscle. I think it is.
Before I forget, Terrence, you're doing a Beethoven from Morbius movie?
I've never watched a Morbius movie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he said
So
he's doing. He
I
said
heard
he's doing.
I saw the reviews and I was like, no, let me just
you
skip
know,
it.
He
but
said he's
that's
doing a
the same
remix.
as
He's doing
guarantee.
a remix.
Yeah.
All right, I think it is like 22 or 23 competitors.
It's cool because bodybuilding, like the last couple shows this year, have been pretty huge. I know Texas had 27
Yeah,
open
yeah.
guys, you
Compared
know.
to last year where it was literally not even half. So yeah, it's up. So we got I don't know who this Creed Albert is, but who stands out here? We got Louis Breed, Tim Budesheim. We have Quinton, of course, Mark Hector, Matthias Hovek, to get the German guy who placed fourth in Prague. We got Ernst Kalaczynski making his open debut. Theo Leguer, or how do you pronounce his name? Mindels, you speak French?
Leguerre.
Leguer?
Yeah.
Leguer. He's
Yeah,
he's he's
yeah.
a he's a front runner for sure. We have Sergio Oliva Jr., Emir Omaragic, and yeah, Williams Martin. Those are the guys.
What happened to the kid Stefan Matala?
I
He
Yeah.
don't
left before this
know,
trip.
man. I don't know unless he has a different name, and we don't know what is. Where is he from? Do you know where he's from originally?
I think he's French.
French. Do we have anybody from French other than Theo?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, Terrence, I picked him to win.
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah.
I got Marquette to win it. Like Mark looks crazy.
Yeah, I love his too, his physique too. Yeah.
they don't even have.
Very probably he can win.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Matter of fact, that's gonna be my pick this week.
what is his name?
I thought it was Stefan Matala. So I swear.
I think no. I think that's just his Instagram name. I think he's got. I don't know. I think he got an African name or something.
Maybe he just moved to France as well. He's not from there.
I thought he was in Dubai or somewhere.
Oh, is that the
He
kid with
lives
the pecs?
Yes.
Crazy striated pecs?
hmm
He just moved from Classic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. You're going to see a lot more of that, especially if they have success. I think
sure.
is capable of a top 4 in this lineup.
I think Er's gonna be first call outs without a doubt. When he came to Texas, maybe like when he came for the I think Pittsburgh. So in May, he came down here or something like that. He was already bigger than one of the open pros I trained with. And I was like, dude, I don't know how you're gonna make weight. And he
He's
did.
regularly hits 270,
Yeah.
like nothing. And he's not fat.
Is
No.
there anybody on there with the name Matala? No, huh? Because his last name is
Stefan
Matala.
Matala. Nobody. Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's not. He's not doing it. There you go. We got another.
Missed
Uh,
opportunity.
we got
Yeah, I'm
another.
not sure.
What's his name again? Shit. Just want to mention. Nexzilla. We got another Nexzilla that's pulling out of the shows before the shows.
Or maybe he felt like he wasn't conditioned enough. I'm not sure. I don't
Oh,
know,
I
but
think he was
Maybe.
crazy condition. I read one of the posts that he says his own mother are teasing him and ask him if he is open or classic.
yes.
Yeah, so that was funny.
Have you ever met him in person? How big a guy is he?
Oh,
He's
I haven't
he's
seen him.
thick. He's a thick. Like I remember I met him when he was still classic and like he's just a big dude. I remember him shaking his hand. It was just like like a, a meat puppet,
Yeah.
you know?
I
That's
He's
what
big.
Ramon's like. Ramon's got
It
giant
is.
hands.
Yeah.
He is. I feel like Stefan is a little thicker than Ramon. But
Little
yeah,
bubblier.
they're very similar. Very
You know
similar.
what surprises me? That Andrea Presti is not in the lineup, and it's in Italy.
Yeah.
Because he knew that it's going to be a tough lineup and he's saving it himself. Yeah.
Oh, so he's going against your policy.
Yeah, of course.
Oh,
But then again,
I
I
hope
kind
you
of
don't.
forced him to do the Prague. Mauro didn't plan him to do the Prague. And I said, like, hey, he's in contest shape. Chris Bamsa is going to be there. Martin's going to be there. You're going to be standing right next to him. They're going to take a pictures. Doesn't matter where he plays. You forever and ever have a picture standing on the stage being compared to Sebam. It's thwarted. So I convinced him. And you remember, they put him in the third call out.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Oh,
So
But
he's
they
not listening to
reversed
my
it.
advice anymore.
But they reversed it at the confirmation round later. They
Yeah,
brought him
they
back.
gave him a second call out.
Thanks, Connor. Thanks for the list. Um, yeah, but how can you not jump on stage when it's in Italy?
yeah.
Was he
I
not
would.
ready? Was he not contest ready?
He was just training with Samson, you remember?
I know, but was he not ready, or is he just thinking, "Oh, I can't win. I'm one of those guys." I don't think so.
Is Quinton doing that show?
Quinton
Yep.
is
Yeah.
doing it. Yeah, Quinton
And
is
He's
he
training.
training with
already
Samson
signed up.
now.
Hey, and he already signed up for Germany too.
Oh, good. Good for him.
So he's doing, even if he's winning, he's doing Germany.
Are they only a week apart?
Yep.
Perfect. What do you think? Is he going to
I,
be significantly better?
I think so. When it's always when you travel, when you go, because he's been with Samson for 3 weeks. And I'm
Mhm.
not saying this is what changed it. I think it's just the environment where you're not home, you're stress free, you just focus on training, eating, and posing. And then you have motivation. So your trainings are not, there's not a training that will suck. You know that.
He
Yeah.
So
put up
like
a
when
He
Huh?
put up a side by side, which is crazy if you guys want to check that out on his page from Italy, how he
I
is now
saw that.
versus yeah.
I saw that, but I'm careful with gym shots.
Okay.
The
Yeah.
gym shots, it's the light and the right reflections. I'm sure he's going to be better, but
Hmm.
that's not my concern. My concern is for him to hold it throughout prejudging.
Ah, okay.
That was his downfall. Last time when he came out in Tampa, was Tampa? No, Texas.
Texas.
I
Yeah.
thought he was better than he was in Tampa, but he started fading again towards the end. That was his issue. He just needs to hold it together for fucking 30 minutes.
Ladies and gentlemen, Joe Weider, Olympia Finals start now!
You know what I learned? Like, I mean, because that was a big show, and I know a lot of bodybuilders aren't used to it. It's funny. I got this idea from C-Bum when we did one Olympia. I saw everyone pumping up, and I just saw him sitting around backstage doing nothing, and I just keyed in on that. And I was like, okay, let me sit around for a bit. And then what I realized is, when you have these large lineups, if you pump up too much, you look great when you first come out. But if you're out there for a long time, like Quinton was, you start to fade. You start to fade is what, but if you do the way C-Bum does it, he knows he's going to be up there quite a bit. He's going to be in the final call outs. And you use that, you use the posing as your pump up, and you slowly get better and better and better. And if the other guy's getting worse and worse and worse, that's typically like his game plan.
But you also know that he was the last one coming out. He had 60 guys ahead of him. He doesn't need to pump up before he gets to number 50, 55.
True,
You know
true,
what I mean?
true. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because if he would have done like what we used to do, we used to pump up like an hour before. It was Milos and protocol, pump up.
Whole workout.
No, I got a hint of that. Right when I became a pro, I competed with Darren Charles and Danny Esther, and it blew my mind how long they were pumping up for. They were doing like Danny would eat a whole burger, pump up for an hour, do the calves, do the legs, everything.
Yeah, but you know why? Because, and that's how I felt. Because, when my first Olympia, because everybody else start pumping up. Now you think you got to pump up too because you don't want to be, you don't want to be behind. You don't want
Yeah, yeah,
all the pump and you coming half ass. So you
yeah.
start
No,
pumping too. Somebody does push-ups, you doing push-ups, and you just do it. That's how it was back then.
And let me tell you, Dennis pumped and anybody else pumped, it's not the same level. Dennis becomes boom, double the size.
yeah.
You know, and other guys get some. Look, Horse MD, he told me that if he pumps up, he smooths out. I said, no, no,
Nah.
don't give me that shit. Don't give me that shit. You're fat. I want you to pump up. And then he pump up and he was smooth. But he said he does this all the time. He can't pump, not zero. He goes on the stage like this.
Yeah, but
And
that's when
if
you're not
you,
that's when you're not really in shape. When you get a pump and you smooth out, that means you're not 100% in shape.
I don't know.
You know,
I
because
look different.
I realized that too when I was dieting for a show. In the beginning of the diet, you pump up and you get that full round look, but the detail's gone.
Yeah.
But once you get to the point where when you pump up, the detail comes out, that's when you know you're in shape. You
Of
know,
course, of course. You know, when Michael Morris was saying in Hungary, he saw me backstage. This is I'm white, small. I don't even look like a bodybuilder. He's gonna smoke me, and I come out fully pumped, ready to beat his ass. Yeah, some people dramatically change, and for those that dramatically change, I would like them to be pumped. But Terrence, okay, here was the trick back in 90s. Okay, you pump up 70%, not 100, but then as your line up. Of course, as soon you keep your legs, keep your abs at all times, but then you constantly keep pumping your chest, doing it
Ah,
muscular.
okay.
Just keeping the blood there. Idea is don't let the blood go elsewhere. So as soon as, 30, 40, 60 seconds pass, do a few squeezes, direct the blood back. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mostly just posed in the pump room. I didn't lift
Yeah,
much
but
weight.
if you're on the lineup, in the lineup, you can't do the fully posing, except Paul Dillette used to do that. We're supposed to be in a lineup. I have a video, maybe I'm going to post it. He was doing all crazy, his poses. Yeah.
That's funny.
So let's get back to classic for a second.
Hmm?
Let's predict. Let's do a quick prediction in classic for the classic Olympia. And Terrence, feel free to predict with us.
All right, all right.
Even though you're on stage and if you're not worried about losing a couple of followers, you
My
know.
thing is like I'm always pretty honest. I remember I gave my opinion on Ramon and Mike, and I said I think Mike's gonna beat Ramon, and it's because of the weight limit thing we talked about.
Mhm.
And then I went to Brazil last month,
Oh, they
and
hated
they
on
asked,
you.
no, I mean no, they were actually really nice,
Okay.
but a couple reporters they asked me did I change my mind because I saw him in person and how big he was. And I had to explain to him, I was like, no, that wasn't the issue. I held my ground. I told him I still don't think so. It's not about how big he is now. It's about him on stage and him having to drop all that weight. So now I don't mind telling the truth, about stuff.
But if you would have to guess, who is the next one that's moving up from classic to open?
Oh, I mean, I would say, it's funny, since Urs has said it, I've seen two people. I saw Ramon and Wesley talk about it, but I do think Ramon might be the next. I mean, it can't be fun having to suck down that much. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it can't be fun having to do that. So I think he might be the next. I think, a lot of people are saying he should do it. A lot of people say a lot of people should move up. But, respect to the open guys, people don't realize how big a jump that is. And there's only one guy that's been able to do it successfully, and that's Brett Wilkins. Everyone else who switched, they might have been, first call out at an open show, but I think Brett is the only guy who's won an open show who came from Classic, you know? So
Hmm.
it's not easy. It's not easy at all.
All right, let's go. But let's start with Milos. Milos, classic. Let's predict the classic physique top five.
Olympia, huh?
Olympia, yeah.
Well,
Because we early. Usually we do 12 weeks out. Our prediction.
I pretty much
Kind of
agree
running
with
late.
Yeah.
We needed to see a little bit more.
um, I pretty much agree with Terrence says. Who are his choices? Logan, Jose, Mike, Ramon, and him. Now, in which order? I'm going to
Mhm.
tell you this. I've seen Ramon when Chris Acedo sends us a picture. I'm sure, Jose, you got it at,
Yeah.
at one point, that Ramon was peeled to the point of you can't even believe, like
Yep.
Logan Franklin was at the
That's
Arnold Classic. Okay, I've seen that. So I assume that being peeled like this, he was still overweight, and then I still have to lose more, and then it went to shit. I mean, not shit, but it's not the same condition, right? And now he looks even bigger, and I am.
before you say anything,
Hmm?
keep in mind we still have 5 more weeks to change our
Yeah,
prediction.
yeah, yeah, I know. But
It's
I
just
love, I love Ramon, and
Question real quick before you get to it, since you guys are since you're a coach, especially Milos, why do you think someone would continue to push their weight up knowing they're having a hard time making weight each and every
yeah, yeah,
year?
it's 0 cents.
Okay. Okay.
Absolutely 0 cents. Unless, okay, this is for me. If you have a lacking body part and you need to improve, and you have something that is great that maybe you can sacrifice losing that to replace that weight with something else, maybe.
Okay.
Okay. And then you try it, but this is not gone, and now you have a double the weight.
Okay.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Listen, when people crash down and become catabolic, all shit start happening. They can't keep the shape, condition, or anything. So I'm afraid that Ramon is going to be facing this again, even though I would love to see him slice and dice that Chris Aceto sent me those pictures. Listen, that is a absolutely skinless conditioning, front to back, top to bottom, and
Yeah,
that
but
amount could be super dangerous.
yeah,
Okay,
but Milos, maybe and maybe and that's the question for Jose because the question that Terrence just asked, I wanted to hear from
but,
you.
but so idea if he comes at his all-time best, can Ramon win? Yeah, he can.
Okay,
But
but now because the question he just asked, why is he pushing the weight so much if he's already
I don't
having
understand that. I
insurmountable?
mean, I
Well,
don't think it's.
guys, think of how much you grew between 26 and 30, or 27 and 32.
Mhm.
And you weren't even, you
Fine.
didn't calculate like, oh, I'm going to eat this much more, or take this, or train it. No, it's just more time, more time, more time. He's growing. I don't think he's purposely blowing up in the off season in the hopes of getting bigger, because he's just going to have to lose more weight. He's a young kid who's just growing. And unfortunately, it's not good because he's got to suck down. And I don't even think the muscularity issue is the problem for Urs. I mean for Ramon. It's like posing, and one of his body parts, which is a weakness, is his lats. Like from the front, he doesn't have this sweeping lats, like a lot of guys do. He doesn't have the same taper as Terrence, as Mike. He can get hard as nails, and he's got great arms, great legs, great shoulders, but his weakness is that
Yeah.
V taper in the front. He doesn't. He's got to fix a couple poses, you know. And there's just certain things. He's probably going to have to go to open soon, because as much as I'd love to see it, I don't see him winning the Olympia in classic right now, because there's guys getting better and better that just have a better overall look.
All right.
In a tank top, in a sleeveless shirt, he kills everyone. But when you start analyzing the physique, the front double, back double, he doesn't win those shots. It's unfortunate.
Makes sense. Milos, all right, from one to
Okay,
five.
I'm going to shorten up, and then if you give me the chance to elaborate. But I see Mike and Terrence going head to head. Mike has slight advantage because he's wider a little bit, more dramatically V-taper that he knows how to pose. But Terrence can overtake him. I know right now I would give slight edge to Mike. Dennis, you were saying he has the best structure in bodybuilding, but he never nailed the condition. Now he's nailing condition, so I think he got a formula, and he's motivated. He's next in line what he believes. But Terrence is there. That's going to be dogfight for first and second. I see Ramon third for the reasons that Jose just said. It's crazy physique, but he doesn't have a V taper of these two gentlemen, and that's in classic very visible and so important. So that's going to cost him. And also for Ramon, he does have issues with separation with the quads. If you check, many times he was losing there. Even though he had quads and he had it separated, I've seen it. I've seen it in the gym. I've seen it a few times. But on the stage, last 2 years, same thing was happening. He was losing it. And, fourth and fifth is going to be dogfight between Jose and Logan. They have also similar physique. That's for me. That's like pure classic. Pure classic. Uh, about the same size. Logan has more powerful legs. Jose Bazema has a little bit, uh, not sweeping thighs, so it's almost look like maybe legs are not big enough, but they're big enough. He needs to maybe pose a little bit differently, open up different, not ride a
It's
horse.
just
It's
sweep.
just like,
It's just sweep. Yeah.
open them up a little bit. But both comes in crazy condition. I mean, craziest condition. In all respect to you, Terrence, you come in crazy condition, but like you said, Jose Besema outconditioned you, right? And that's the ticket to win. Those two guys are going to go for that crazy conditioning. So this is my top five that could possibly change.
Who's in fourth and who's in
So,
fifth?
so I'm going to have a Mike, Terrence, Ramon. I'm going to have a Jose over Logan. now. Because Logan,
So
I
you
still
push,
haven't seen the final picture.
Hmm.
you
A
push
couple of weeks
Rion
back.
out the top five.
Huh?
Yes, heavy-hearted. Yes, heavy-hearted, but yes.
Okay.
Jose, what do you
Yo,
think?
I think we haven't seen the best Terrence yet. And he added a lot of muscle last year. And I think that you're one of the few people that took a year off and actually came back with a dramatically better physique. Um, I'm not a big advocate of taking a year off, but you just shut me up. And I think Terrence is going to win. I think it's a long time coming. He's been, in my eyes, one of the best for a long time now, and he's going to win. I'm a huge fan of Mike too because that's a crazy physique. I
Mhm.
just see it more as a bodybuilding physique. He could probably do well in 212, but yeah, I think the best version of Terrence beats everyone. When you see him on stage by himself, you're blown away. Like, it's only his stature that he struggles with, and I don't think that should matter. And the bigger he's gotten, the less it does matter. So I see Terrence winning. I see Mike, the returning, champion, in second, and I'll see Hosima in third,
Hmm.
leapfrogging Ramon because that condition is just wild, and he's a big
Ludicrous.
dude. I don't see Ramon being any lower than third. I mean, any lower than fourth, and then has Logan actually been in the top
Logan hasn't
four?
even qualified yet.
He's
He
got. I
isn't.
looked at the list. It's pretty much given he's going to take that, sure.
When
Yeah,
is it?
we don't know who's going to show up
It's
from
Saturday. The list just came out, but it's Saturday.
which
Wow.
where's the show?
Florida, Sarasota.
Um, Carter, can you find the classic physique list from the show coming up this Saturday in Sarasota? If
I
you
think it's
can,
called the Florida Pro.
yeah. Oh, I
Isn't
did
that funny?
this
We all
weekend.
got him in the top five, and he's not even qualified.
Yeah.
Hey, the guy I picked to win Italy is not even competing.
So you have Logan in fifth.
Yes.
Okay. What's the other? What's the guy from England again? What's his name?
Nile or One Punch Naz.
Wow, this
Yeah,
dude is fucking
I don't
ridiculous.
even know who that is.
he's incredible. I've met him in person a couple of times and trained with him. He's impressive. He won Tampa against the Brazilian Meneganchi.
What
And
about Matt
Menegachi,
Grego? Does Matt Grego stand a chance to slide in?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they all do.
Terrence just got wide-eyed.
oh no, Matt Gregg was obviously, amazing. I mean, he beat Wesley, and Detroit. I personally think symmetry wise, there's some guys that can beat him. I think structurally, he's a big dude. He's got a good taper.
Great
Just,
legs.
I think symmetry wise, he's got some gaps to fill, like hamstrings. I think his delt's a little bit overpowering compared to like his arms and the side chest. Um, I'm a big fan of symmetry, so I really like if a person's kind of balanced from top to bottom, side to side. And I think there's some guys that are a little bit ahead of him on that. You know,
How old are you now, Terrence?
I'm 31.
Yeah. You're
Well,
still
Yeah.
a kid.
I'm looking at this list, and I'm going to be really, really honest right now. All I know is Logan Franklin. That's
Yeah,
it.
I mean,
I don't know anybody else.
I just know two other guys on this list, and it's because
And
I
you're a
it's
classic
because
guy,
they
and
in
you only
Tampa.
know you're a classic guy. You only know two on the list.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
this would have to be a miracle from somewhere that and somebody come on that we don't even know that he exists. He can come in there and beat Logan. That's going to be. I mean, he must be looking like a Mr. Olympia to do that. Milos, do you know anybody?
No, but I was going to tell you when you were asking for a list, it's like, come on, we're just going to know Logan and nobody else. And I was going to say maybe Terrence would know a couple of more, and that's exactly what happened. I wish, I spoke before you said it.
That is crazy. All right, thanks, Carter. We don't need to see this no more because we don't know who they are. Yeah, that's crazy though, you know. So now, so he's competing this weekend. Then we have another classic at my show in 2 weeks, which is the
Hmm.
final one. So we're looking at Carter. Check ifbpro.com. Olympia qualified competitors, classic physique. How many athletes are in their lineup? We got to
Too
be at
many.
60. We
Too
got to be
many.
at 60.
Seems like
So
there's one every weekend.
yeah. So Terrence, since we have you on the show, man, what do you think should happen? Do you think this is the way it should be? We have 60 competitors in the class at the Olympia, or should this be just really the best of the best? We can't say this is the best of the best because it's 60 guys. They're not all the best.
I think it's too many, to be quite honest with you. And like being backstage and having to wait like an hour for individuals to go through it, I think
Go
it's
to classic physique. Classic.
I mean it's tough because like you got to think of a way to make it
Uh,
work for like business wise too. Because I mean like it purists, you could just say, oh, just have less shows, but business wise, they're never gonna get rid of, 30 plus shows at, around the world. I think either, I mean, it's tough, man.
move up, move like scroll up.
A couple years ago they did the point system, so top 25 point earners went to the Olympia.
Keep
Personally,
going.
I think that way is fine. I think people had an issue with it because the people at the bottom of that point system, they were never safe, right? They would always have to be worried that someone would get more points and then they would try to have to do another show. I mean, that's the quickest and the best way to do it. The only other way I've seen someone mention was Don Long. He mentioned doing it like basketball, have like a what do you call it? Like a pro league and like a what do you call it? G League, you know? And
That's
then
over 60 guys.
Yeah,
It's
I
58.
counted like 63 or something.
Yeah,
I counted 60, but it says showing 1 to 58.
yeah,
So
but
and there's gonna
and
be two
Chris,
more. So yeah.
and Chris Bumstead is not doing it, so that's 57. But it's still going to be 59. I mean, and maybe a couple of guys that don't show up. But yeah, it's just too much.
It's too much. I mean, like, and like you got to think it from show wise. Like I love classic, I love bodybuilding, but I don't want to see 60 people go across the stage. Like it's a
But
lot.
I mean,
Um,
the problem for me was, you know, I mean, we're doing a podcast on the expo, right?
mhm.
And I set the time for like 1 so I can get prejudging in. And when they have 50 or 60, it took 2 hours just for their first
That's
mandatory.
what I mean. Yeah.
Because
No,
I
I
didn't
agree.
even Jose, I didn't even get to see the comparisons.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'll be damned. They kept coming. They kept coming and coming. I took the time to watch all the damn mandatories, and then I had to leave.
And you couldn't even comment on the show.
I
No.
know I wasn't commenting anyways, but I wanted to see it, because
Yeah.
the classic is so interesting, man, just to see who's up there.
It should be the top 20 best in the world. That's it.
At most.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
All
think
that
even
money could
20,
be going
Great
into
call out
Terrence's
too.
pocket.
I think even I think even 20 is too
I mean,
much.
I love it. Yeah, yeah.
I think 10 to 15, that's the top guys.
I think the best way, yeah, I think they should. I mean, the point system. It's tough again for like the people at the bottom of that list, but if you're going into a season choosing easier shows, then it does make sense for you to do more to earn that spot in that top 20, because
Yeah,
the way
but
that they had the tier system.
you see what you just said though? It said it sucks for the one on the bottom. Well, you're
Yeah,
on the bottom for a reason.
yeah.
If you can't make it, then it's not for you. You're not there yet. That's why we're
Hmm.
just saying it shouldn't be. I mean, I don't want to sound like I don't want these guys to make it to the Olympia. I want everybody to make it to the Olympia. But the
Hmm.
Olympia is the best of the best. There's not the best of the best if there's 60 guys on that stage. When you go to any qualifier, there's not more than 25, 30 at the max.
That's true.
So how come there's 60? You know what I mean? And there's only 10 in the top 10.
That's true. Yeah, and like I agree, and that is a lot of money. Like I like that's a lot of money to be because they pay for the per diem, the flights, the hotel for all these people. It's a lot.
Yeah, but it's just too much to look at for even for the audience, I think. Ain't
Hmm.
nobody trying to see all that,
but
you
we knew
know.
that's coming. There's way too many pro qualifiers with way too many pro cards.
I
I
think the,
this this is the first thing I have to change. Pro qualifiers, you have only few, and all these other shows would qualify you to enter this pro qualifier because that's going to be best of the amateurs, and
pro
then
qualifier
that
Mills.
one can turn pro. There's
Yeah,
no
but
I,
reason
Mills,
to have a pro card when you look like
it needs
you're
to
right.
be one step in between. Like you must go to junior nationals or something. I agree with that. Yeah.
Well, you have to. And I'm not talking about the U.S. I'm talking about worldwide now.
Yeah.
International, you have to do regional shows to qualify for the pro qualifier. So there's not just I'm going to a pro qualifier because I think I'm that good. You have to qualify. So, and there's a lot of pro qualifiers, but that doesn't change the fact that there's too many pros at the Olympia. I don't care how many pros are out there. If you pro number 520, you're going to have to work yourself up to make it to the Olympia. So my idea would have been win two shows, not just one.
hey, I'm sure that you're getting this done. Is sometimes, and you, Jose, I'm getting an Instagram rate my physique, right?
Mhm.
It was okay. It's like, oh yeah, in a couple of years you can turn pro. Bro, I'm a pro already.
Well, maybe in a couple of years you'll have an actual pro physique.
Oops.
Oh man.
Yeah, yeah, but it's true. This,
Hey,
unfortunately, there's
Derek is calling. Should I answer?
ooh,
Derek.
no, don't answer
No.
on the podcast.
Maybe we could ask him something, you
All
know?
right, at least step aside then. With
No,
your
I
with
wanted
your
to make
bad
it
hip,
interesting.
with
I'm
your
turning
bad.
my phone off.
Ask him if you want to come on. Can you explain about what happened at
You
the
had a
marathon?
perfect chance. I was going to pick up the phone.
Not over the phone. I mean, not over the phone. What was I saying just now, man? Shit. Yeah, I think for the guys to have to qualify winning two shows, that would already bring the numbers
That would
up.
cut in half. Yeah. I would love that.
Maybe not so much like maybe not the Arnold but
Hmm.
like the shows in Europe, the shows, let's say Pittsburgh, Arnold, New York, and the Olympia, okay. But all the other shows, you should win two, not just one. Like Rubiel just won two shows. That would
Yeah.
bring the numbers down because especially the problem is that's why we have so many in classic to promote a classic pro event is much cheaper than to promote an open guy event or
Yeah.
open or 212, and therefore there's so many classic events because classic is a very popular category. Everybody wants to see it, so the people put them shows on. So that therefore there's so many Olympia qualifications. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Look,
would I would ramp it up to two.
if you determine how many Open Olympia competitors can be on the stage, max it at 20. 20 is top. Okay. Classic, maybe 25. Okay. Put the number, whatever number you decide, realistic number that people are going to enjoy watching the best of the best. And then structure the other shows that, okay, how you're going to, from these qualifiers, make 20 for the Open maximally. And then sometimes the double guys are going to win, and maybe you're going to end up with 15. So what? 15 of the prime. Honor Classic is invitation only, usually what? 12
10
guys, 10
people.
guys. So
Yeah.
in reality, 15 should be a number, but let's stretch it to possibly 20. But going over 20 doesn't make sense. Going 60 for a classic, come on. And
I
it
think
hurts me because they all look good.
you know why I think it should be more than 15. There's one reason, and this is because they only judged the number 15.
That's true. That
I
is
said
There's
true.
no need for me to be 16 when there's 5/16. I mean, come on, we just didn't make it, so we shouldn't be there. That's just how I feel. Just bring what you judge. If you judge 15, bring 15.
Do you think they're afraid of losing money?
Who?
The Olympia.
I don't think it has. Nah, I don't think
Do
anybody
you
thinks.
think those
Why would-
extra? What if there's 15, then there would be 45 that wouldn't compete. Their family members, their friends, their fans might not come to the show, might not buy tickets.
I
No,
don't
and
know. I don't
the
know if
reason,
those. Huh? Go ahead,
so
Terrence.
I do know for a fact, I was talking to Tamer. We would sell out. They were selling out a larger venue. So the new venue is half the size of the old venue, and they sold out the old venue. So there's no, I don't think they're worried about that. The tickets are like doubled in price now. I will say that. So and they don't give us free tickets anymore. That's another thing. We get a certain percentage off. I can't remember like whether it's 20, 30% or something like that off. So I
Also,
don't
there's no comp tickets.
know because they said the reasoning was because people were wanting, multiple tickets for their family instead of giving them one free ticket, they like, oh, we'll give you a percentage off of however many tickets you want to buy. So I think if they were able to fill out a bigger venue, no problem. I don't think they're worried about because a lot of people I know that are coming to the show, they couldn't get tickets to the show because the price is going up so high.
I don't think that's the problem either. I think most of these guys don't. I don't think some of these guys that they already know they're not even going to be anywhere near.
I
You know,
I I think the thing is the way the organization is set up is too separated. So the Olympia isn't in charge of who qualifies for the Olympia. The Olympia is its own organization. The NPC is a separate organization, even though they're commingled. They're two separate owners.
yeah, it's not the NPC, it's the Pro League. The
Oh, I'm sorry, the IFBB, but still separate owners, correct?
no,
So,
it's the federation. There's the federation and the Olympia. That's just the promoter. Jake Wood is a promoter
mhm.
promoting the Olympia. The
But
rules
my point
set by
is,
the
Jake
IFBB.
Wood doesn't have any say on how many pro shows they have. Is my
No,
point?
no, absolutely no,
Yeah,
absolutely not. That's absolutely yeah. The pro shows. I don't think the pro shows is. I mean, yeah. If you look at it this way, it could be the issue. That's why we have so many qualified. But if this is an easy fix in my eyes, just double,
yeah.
double. That's it.
I will say if it's double, there's going to be a
It
lot
will
less
put
than
more
20. It's going to be
bodies
a
on
lot less
stage,
than 20.
huh?
I will say the thing is if you have to win two, it's going to be a lot less than 20 people because there's no guarantee people are going to win two shows.
Exactly, and
Yeah, yeah.
that's the goal right there.
Okay.
That
It
will be
would
my
be
goal.
it'd be a
If you
better
do win two
product.
shows, that means you one of the best.
True. If you can win two, yeah.
The
Belong there.
fans would love it
Hmm.
I
because
think
you
so
get
too.
more challenging, lineups more often.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and we wouldn't have a 60-man lineup and we'd talk about five guys.
true.
Yeah.
True.
We don't even know who the other ones are. I mean, that's disrespectful. I feel like I'm disrespecting these guys because I have no idea who they are. Well, since we're at that point, I'd like to say you too can unlock your full potential with the cutting edge lineup from high tech pharmaceuticals. All you have to do is just follow them on IG and Facebook. Visit High Tech Pharma for a deep dive into their science backed formulas that will power your performance, strength, and also bring you some of the best results.
Fuel your grind with the science of results. High-tech pharmaceuticals brings power, performance, and precision to every product. Elevate your fitness. Visit hightechpharma.com today. Backed by science. Built for strength.
They qualify somewhere, I don't know, in China, fucking Uzbekistan, who knows, and unfortunately, I don't even know this show happened. And then there's these guys on stage, and I feel bad for most of these guys because you have to go through to meet the Olympians. You're sitting at a table and you watching people walk past you, and they walk past you because they don't even know you're competing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
just I wouldn't want to be in this position where I'm sitting there shaking my fucking ball pen to make sure it won't dry out because I'm not getting to sign nothing. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Most of these people don't even have pictures to sell or to sign because they're not used to it. So and it takes so much, to prepare for putting all these guys at a table. You know what I'm saying? At one Meet the Olympics, we got like 400 plus competitors. Think about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It is crazy, and this takes away from, so many, the fans. I mean, it's hard, if you stand in line here for 3 hours, and then you stand in another line for 2 hours, you get to shake two hands.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see how the sport evolved.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it wouldn't be the way it is right now. It's popular, you know what I mean? But I think that the Olympia, as the most prestigious show, should have just the top 15 best guys of the world. That
Yeah.
because that can change any year because guys get better and they kick others out of the top 15.
Yeah.
You know? That's just what I think. And I think that will be the easiest fix without pissing people off. You know what I'm saying? It's just we need to know, who deserves, because it used to be to qualify for the Olympia, man. That was special.
Mm.
Jose, it was that shit was special, right?
Oh yeah.
If you
Yep.
qualify for the Olympia, everybody would know your fucking name when you come to meet the Olympians.
Yeah.
They wouldn't
That,
walk
that
past
that means
you.
we beat someone good.
Yeah.
Yeah, they wouldn't walk past you because they don't know who you are, and that
Mhm.
counts for all categories, not just bodybuilding or whatever. I mean, bodybuilding is the least competitors, but I think it should just be that way, and that way everybody gets this, and deserves the same attention. You know what I mean? And it would just make it even better. Plus, we wouldn't have to sit there till like 1:30 in the morning for prejudging.
True. True.
You're prejudging at the expo, right?
Yeah, classic, yes, yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
And
Yeah.
the parents is like, oh, wait a minute, when the last
I
time
missed last year. I'm
Yeah,
forgive me.
yeah. The prejudging
You
is
know.
at the expo
Yeah.
Friday, and the finals is Friday night at the on the big stage.
Okay.
Okay.
I think this, and then this would be another thing for me. They should move all this to the big stage.
Yeah.
Even if,
Mhm.
Terrence, you were there at Olympia. You didn't watch the prejudging?
I was there. I was back. I went. Oh yeah, it was back. It was at the expo because I went backstage to say hey to some of the guys. Yeah. Yeah. You
and
know.
it's fucking crazy to see how many people standing there. I mean, there's no room, there's no seats left, and how
No.
many people just standing. The whole expo stops.
You can't see after a certain point because you got the people sitting, they can see, but then you got this large crowd around it. And then like if you're in the back of that crowd, you my height, you can't see nothing, man.
Hey, you got to get on someone's shoulders.
Yeah, yeah.
Do they have a jumbotron at the expo?
They have two big ones on the
Screens.
side. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's what they're watching.
Hmm.
They're just standing there for the energy. Because
Yeah.
I certainly wouldn't be able to see from back there.
Jose will sit on your shoulder, and then you got switch. So
Yeah.
I can see something. Yeah, but you guys, why would you have to stand in the back? You gotta be in the front.
True.
Find,
Yeah, yeah,
I'll
yeah.
go sit with you,
I
DJ.
remember. I'll never forget his Terrence. Was it 2020? The year he got second.
Hmm.
If you would not know who won the show, judging by the way he came off stage, backstage, you would say this is the winner right there.
Oh yeah. That was the first year I took second. That was a lot. I had yeah, it was
Oh,
a lot.
you talking about being a happy man? Come on.
Well, that
That
was
was
the only, that was the first time I took a year off. And during that time period, Milos was a friend with my coach. Matt had passed away during that off season. So like I felt a lot of like I don't want to say pressure, but I guess pressure going into that show to like, you know, I don't know, for him, so like all those emotions kind of came out of me.
yeah. No, you were a happy
Yeah.
man. You got second place behind Chris Bumstead. Shit.
'Cause honestly, going into the show, I knew I was going to do well. Like, and I have huge respect for Breon. Like I said, I personally think Breon should have two more Olympics. The one with the first year and the first year Chris won. And I thought going into that show, I was probably going to take third, and placing second, I was, I was in shock. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well, since
What do you
we
feel? What do you feel you brought up the most this year? I have my opinion, but I want to hear
I
you.
I think the biggest is my hamstring and arms. Yeah, 100%. I'm a little irritated with myself because in the off season, I thought my back was like had improved a lot, but once I shed that fat off, it started to shrink quite a bit because you guys know with the classic weight cap, you kind of have to prioritize what you add to, and that means like kind of deprioritizing other things. So like Milo said, you don't get too big in certain places you can't make weight. So I thought I was good for the back, but like, man, now I look at it and I'm like, that's the thing I want to bring up the most moving forward. But I'm really happy with the improvements for the arms and the hamstrings.
That's what I noticed. Your
Yeah.
arms right away, in a good way.
Yeah.
and also his chest. I think
Yeah, he's
especially in
a
the,
Yes,
lot
yeah.
rounder.
yeah, he looks round. But Terrence, I gotta get you a top five, man.
Like so last time in 2023, my last competition, I placed fifth. Mike, I think Mike placed sixth that year or seventh, and I was 11 pounds lighter that year, and that's why I feel pretty confident too. You know, because like if I could place fifth at like 170, you know, I could definitely do better at like I'm more last competition I was 181, you
in
know,
Pittsburgh.
in Pittsburgh or New York. Yeah, yeah.
Has Mike ever beaten you?
Yeah, he did. He beat me that year I was off in 2022, the year I went from second to sixth.
That's when he got
Oh,
fit.
He got fifth. Yeah, yeah. So he's beat me one time. And yeah, yeah.
all right. So
Go
this
ahead,
is
break
some
it down, man.
payback.
Give me your
Mhm.
top five in classic.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Oh
I mean,
yeah, yeah. You know, I think I've seen close to Mike. Mike is very, very what's the word I'm looking for? Diplomatic with his responses, and I appreciate it, but I'm a little bit more straightforward.
he's
I
straightforward.
definitely got me coming first, you know.
Didn't
I
expect
definitely
him
think
to
Mike,
go.
100% Mike second. I don't think anyone can challenge him in like his structure, the size he's brought this year. Third,
You want to go back to
most
Brazil?
likely Ramon.
I was just about to ask. You want to go back to Brazil?
Yo, like I'm used to his fans now. His fans, I got thicker skin because of his fans now, so it don't bother me
More
anymore.
haters in Brazil than he has in America.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
And
only
I
the
see
Brazil so mad at him.
his fans aren't loyal. Like when I felt bad for him because like when he dropped last year, I saw the negative response he got, you know, from his fan base. It was a lot. You know, it was a lot.
So
But
Ramon in third.
I got him third. Fourth is tough. I could I really like Niall Darwin. Like I obviously I haven't seen him next to Hosema. Now his strength is also his weakness. Like his waist is so small, but sometimes when your waist is so small, like your torso is a little narrow as well. You know what I mean? And Hosema's really he's a really broad, you know, so structurally it's tough. I like Niall a lot, so I'm gonna put Niall there, you know.
What's his last name?
Darwin.
Norman.
Darwin.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Um
And then Jose in fifth.
Jose in fifth.
Yeah. That's all we need. That's all we
Yeah,
need.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Let's go straight to the open
You didn't
prediction.
say your
Oh,
pick.
oh, okay. I basically do this is this week. I stick with Mike, Terrence, Jose, um, Ramon, and Logan. That's my top five today. It might change next week, maybe not. We'll see. Let's go
Yeah.
straight to the open before we finish this podcast. We going to the open, we're going to the big boys, and we going for top six.
Oh,
All right,
I'm excited.
we're gonna start with Milos.
Again?
Yeah, because
Okay.
you
Uh,
waited the longest now.
Mark Hector is my pick for this week. I
No, no,
think.
no, no, no. I'm
No, no,
talking,
no,
I'm
the
talking about
Olympia.
this week. I'm talking about Olympia.
Oh, for that one, for Olympia. Samson, Hadi.
Howdy.
Yeah. I wholeheartedly believe that McCruz is going to be here, so I'm going to put him.
Oh, you still believe he's making
You
it?
think he's making it? Okay.
Yeah, you know,
Milos is like that though. He's not going to give
you
up
have
until
to.
it's
You have
fucking
to
over.
think that way.
He will tell you the day before the show he still believes he's going to make it.
Okay.
Two Persians in the top five.
Yeah,
So Howdy in Peru's in third.
yeah. McCruz in third,
Oh wow.
fourth, Andrew Jack, fifth, Derek, and sixth, Nick.
Oh wow. You go out.
Very
I know you
different
don't
list
have to
then,
make.
too.
I
I
would
know
like to elaborate, but you don't want to hear.
I
We're
got
talk
a
for half
very
an hour.
different list.
I guarantee you he's going to change that next week. He has to. There's no way he can stick to that for the next 5 weeks. No chance. Jose.
Yo, what I just saw last week from Samson really changed my thought process. So I'm still sticking to what I said before. I think Hadi, pound for pound, is the most professional of professional bodybuilders. He never really comes off in his condition, the midsection, everything. I think he's the best bodybuilder in the world in the open. So I'm gonna go with Hadi, Samson, Derek. This is where it gets interesting. Andrew, Nick.
It's crazy. You guys are leaving the fourth place winner from last year off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These guys.
These guys. Okay. Okay.
Well, who does he beat out of that?
I don't know. No, I was just making a point. No,
Well,
I
he
don't know.
beat Andrew last year, so you're right.
Mhm.
Sure did.
But I just
Andrew's placing, I don't
Jose,
agree.
listen, Jose, you don't have to beat yourself up because we got 5 more weeks.
yeah
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You always change, make
yeah
change.
I'm sure it will.
So now you have Hardy, Samson, Derek, Andrew, Nick, and
How many's that? That's 5.
Oh, he said six, top 6.
All right, Martin.
There you go.
Or I'm on the fence. Good veto.
Oh,
Good
yeah.
veto. I might even
You high on good video. I mean, there gotta be
from the front. He's incredible. If he fixes a few poses, people are going to be hurting.
Yeah.
But right now, Martin's a better poser, and he's a little better from behind. So I'll stick with Martin.
All right, Terrence, I'm gonna give you a minute. I'm gonna do mine first.
Okay.
I got Samson. I got Hardy. I have Nick. I got Derek. 2, 3, 4. I have Martin and Andrew. I can't put people in the top 5 or top 6 if they don't have the visa yet. Unfortunately, I'll keep that for later when he gets it.
Okay.
So Terrence, if you know who
Do we
you have,
even know Hadi's allowed?
I'm sure Hardy has a visa though.
Yeah, like a 5-year one that he got a few
Yeah, I
years
think
ago.
after so many years, they give him at least 3 or 5 or sometimes even 10.
Okay.
Oh, all right.
So I'm not
Good.
sure. I'm just guessing right now. So don't go up to these other podcasts and say, "How you got a 10-year visa?" Then TJ said,
Yeah.
"I don't know, but I guess because he doesn't look concerned,
No.
Yeah.
and if the way he has been posting pictures and videos, he's not concerned. So I guess he knows he's coming.
Yeah. Good.
This would
That's
be the
exciting.
time. This would be the time for him to come over here too. Is he still working with Honey?
Probably.
He has to, right? They still got to be.
I would think so.
100%.
Yeah, he's still with Evergen. So yeah, he's with Honey. So I
Do we
guess
know
it's
how old he is?
Hadi.
He's
Yeah.
like late 30s, if I'm not mistaken.
Hard to say, man.
I think he's like 38, 39.
I thought he was that old when I met him 10 years ago.
No,
That's
he looks
That's the
older
beard.
than what he is for sure.
That's the beard.
Yeah.
It's got to be the
But
beard.
is it?
Yeah.
Does it look like he's? I don't want to say the wrong thing, but from what I see, the updates, does it look a little softer than usual at this time?
I haven't seen any real good updates. I saw a few weeks ago of a close up of his chest, and it was fully fibered, like really lean.
Yeah,
I
but
haven't seen any posing.
him. I usually see him. I thought that I usually when I see him like at least 5, 6 weeks out, he was way harder. Not, I mean, I'm not saying that he's behind. I'm just saying he's not. He doesn't look to me like he's usually his usual look. He looks a little softer. He looks bigger. He looks obviously bigger than last year. And I just hope because he was slightly off one year. Remember?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, and especially from behind, and
It's the
he
it's
needs
the
to-
back, upper
after
back.
seeing Samson's back and his guest posing, Hardy can be behind when it comes to condition from the rear. He has to be just like in the front. That's
Right.
that's the only way to be even close to Samson. If he brings the front and the back, same condition.
With this lineup, if anyone slips, they're giving it away.
Yeah.
But Milos just said that Samson just need to be 90%.
Yeah, I don't know. He needs to be better than he's been.
He's
You know?
already better than he's been, I think.
True.
That's what I saw. But
Okay.
I don't know if he was.
You see, you said something interesting. You said best bodybuilder, Hadi. I was saying best body, Samson. But body and bodybuilder has a few more equations when you put it, right? That conditioning, how much condition is going to matter, how much this is going to matter. So I agree with you that so far, Hadi, his conditioning, killed everybody for years, including that,
From the
including Derek.
front. From the front, though.
From the front.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
from the back.
Yeah.
But okay, his back is not equally as good and ripped as front, but it's not bad. It's
I,
not
I,
out
I
of
didn't
shape.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. No, it's not bad. But when you look like this from the front, can you imagine if you would turn around, it'd be the same shit? That
Yeah.
would be like, oh fuck, it's over.
Yeah.
Hey, there's nobody that knows better than me. That would be me. My front looked like a ripped guy, and my back is like, who the fuck is this softy?
Yeah. Unfortunately, it just happens. But yeah. And Derek is vice versa. Derek is better from the back.
Yeah.
All right,
All right.
It's hard to say that, but
Got
go
my
ahead.
got my
Terrence.
list.
let's hear you. Let's
All
let's
right.
hear classic. How classic judges open bodybuilding.
Mine's gonna be weird, and I think you'll be surprised. But I got Samson winning. But I have Nick Walker in second.
I can
I
I,
think,
I can see that too.
yeah. I think just from what I'm seeing, he's improved a lot since the last showing, and he was tied with Derek. And I think his imposing improved a lot. Like a couple years ago, pretty much every front pose except his most muscular was really bad. But now I think he's improved his lat spread from the front. I think he's improved his front double from the front. So really now his worst one from the front is just the ab and thigh. I think every other pose is fantastic. Side poses are really, really nice. Back poses are really good. There may be people with better lats or traps, but in terms of the entire pose, arms, back, legs, I think he's got one of the best back doubles in bodybuilding.
I agree, but I disagree with what you said earlier.
What was that?
I think his ab and thigh is better than his front lat spread.
I have to go and see. I haven't. I'll double check, but I do think he's improved his front poses a lot because of
He's
the pose.
improving. He's always
Yeah.
improving. All right, so we got Nick in
Samson,
second.
Nick. Third, third I could put Hadi Chupon. Fourth, Derek. Let me see what I'm missing. Andrew's tough. Obviously, structurally, he's the best. It's just conditioning. And I'm like, I don't know. I know he's out in Tampa right now training for the Olympia, so maybe that'll help. If he shows up even like 10% better, I think he'll get that fifth place spot.
So should I put it down?
Yeah, put it. I'm gonna have some faith in Andrew. Please prove me right. And six, I'll put Martin. I'll put Martin there.
Yeah, I mean we all pretty much talk about the same guys, other than Milos. Milos got.
I like Beirut, to be honest with you. I think Beirut could be top 5, but I'm like you. Like if he doesn't have the visa,
If he has his visa,
yeah.
I guarantee you this. I mean, as soon as I know he's in the United States, the
Mhm.
visa might
We'll
be enough.
change it.
I'll give you this. If he makes it there, I will put Beirut ahead of Andrew and Martin. So was that fifth place?
That
Yeah.
would be
That's where I would put him.
that would be fourth. Wait a minute.
Four,
No,
oh, wait.
no, we'd be fifth. Yeah,
Fifth. Yeah, fifth. I'll put him fifth.
I would listen. And this is listen, people, you will not know until you see him stand next to these guys.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Right.
And you
Yeah.
really see how good this guy is. Because I don't see why he shouldn't be able to beat Derek, Nick. Just by structurally, Derek's not structurally better than Beru's.
No.
He has a better back when it comes to backdoor bicep, but Beru's backdoor bicep is fucking crazy, But he has good structure, front and back, And he's also maybe slightly deficient in the quad sweep, but so is Derek.
Hmm.
What I mean? So now he's taller. I think that could be a serious battle there, right, Milos?
I put him ahead of Derek.
Oh, yeah.
Derek was making fun like, oh, you would put him ahead of Derek. He has a better body than Derek, no question about it. You know. Now, is this better bodybuilder that Jose is going to bring other things in equation? Yeah, then judges might focus more on this, on that. But body is a body. There's not even a question. Yeah, it's one of the prettiest body out there. I mean, you cannot have
But
a smaller waist, wider shoulders, round chest, shoulders, crazy peaked arms, hamstring glutes, ridiculous.
Conditioning, yeah.
and
All
here,
Beirut's strengths are where Derek's weak, like the abs, the pecs, the arms, But and then he's strong where Derek is strong in the glutes, in the back. I don't know. I think Derek's quads get a little more separated than Barut's,
Yeah.
but neither of them have like huge sweepy thighs. But yeah, it's a funny comparison.
what's the
I'd love to
latest?
see it.
What's the latest update on the visa issue?
They're still waiting for one more update.
Okay.
The third or fourth update so far was not sufficient. They need to provide something else. It's challenging, and it's
They
going to
give
be like
such a hard time, man.
15 days plus 15 like 4 weeks. So he's going to be getting probably in the last minute.
Like Hardy one year where he showed up
Yeah.
2 or 3 days before the
Showed
Olympia.
up day before prejudging. You know.
And he
That's
plays
crazy.
second, right?
Yep.
Yeah, but
But
he
that
was
was
he was fourth after the no. That year, yeah, that he placed second, but he was fourth after prejudging, and then he moved the ground at finals.
yeah, he came back and for the fight. Prejudging he was off,
Yeah.
which totally understandable. And then the next day he fucking nailed it. He was fucking. I mean, he was beating Phil. No, was it the year Phil he beat Phil?
Oh, no, Phil still beat him. That year he placed fourth.
No, the first year he placed. No, that 2020 he placed third. 2021 he placed third. Wait,
Yeah.
the first year Rami won. It was Rami, Brandon,
Yeah.
and then Hadi. Right? See?
21 he placed.
5 years back. Milos knows everything 30 years ago.
Now you confuse me.
Look it up, please.
18th was Brandon Boniak Hadi.
No. I'm talking about
19th
2020 when Rami won first Olympia. Brandon got second. He beat Brandon. So, but who got third? That was Hardy. He got third.
Brandon was second. Phil Heath was third, and Hadi was
No,
fourth.
no. Phil wasn't in the show. Phil came back the next year. Phil wasn't
Okay, come
competing.
on.
Phil got beat
Yeah.
in 2019 and didn't come back in 2020. Phil got only beat once, and then again in 2020 at 2021 where he got third.
Yeah.
Come on, Milos. See,
Wow.
this is too new for
My
you.
brain stopped right
This
now.
is,
Uh,
no, this is too
yeah.
new for you. It's not old enough. It's got to be 30 years old for you to remember. No, serious. He knows everything from fucking back then, every single fucking
I would
detail.
have to go one by one. Yeah, doesn't
Think
matter.
about it. So 2020, that was the first year, the year they had it in December because of COVID.
The first year that Rami won.
2020,
Okay, 21.
Rami won again.
Rami won, but
Brandon was again second.
no, Hadi was second.
No,
Brandon was second,
Brandon was second 2 times.
and then Hadi was third. But I was telling you, Hadi deserves to
You
win.
told me that Hardy should have won. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's that year.
Yeah. Okay.
Brandon was second 2 times. What? And look, we saw Brandon, a much improved Brandon again at the Arnold, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And nobody has Brandon anywhere near the top 6. Do we give him? I mean, are we disrespecting the champ?
I mean, somebody has to be first and somebody have to be sixth. I mean,
Yeah, but
he's in running,
do you
but
think?
it's
Do you
not
think?
all Brandon that we can put him there
But
yet.
you see the Brandon in shape, like he was in shape at the Arnold and the Arnold. Now Brandon maybe improved from the Arnold again. Can't beat Martin.
I could
But
see
Yeah.
that happen. Yeah.
best Brandon ever can fight with Samson.
Yeah.
Best Brandon ever. Yeah.
So are we counting him out?
So he
Are we
said
just
5 weeks out with you.
disrespecting the
Let's
man?
see. Let's see some updates and maybe we'll move him in.
I'm gonna,
That's
I'm gonna,
true.
man,
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna send him a text and I'm gonna ask him to come on. Yeah, because I want to hear from him. I really do.
Yeah,
Because
it's hard to count him out.
yeah,
Even
because
though
he's
what's he,
working.
43 now?
Yeah,
It gets tougher and tougher every year.
yeah.
But if he's healthy, sure, why not? I haven't seen any updates of him.
Well, I'm not putting him next to Samson, but I think that he can fare very well with Martin, Andrew, and,
Yeah.
and even Derek when he's on and he's full and round and hard.
Yeah. But, his problem has always been quads. The quad separation. And as you get older, into your 40s, it's harder and harder and harder to
Mm,
maintain those quads. Never mind improve.
right.
So it's hard. Uh, I hate counting them out. I'm not counting them out, but we'll have to get some more information.
You have to
Yeah.
post, like he has to post something. You got to see something. It's 6 weeks out. I mean, it's go time. This is the time for these guys to show something. So we put them in the mix.
Yeah.
Show
Yeah.
us nothing. We can't talk about you, you know?
Yeah. He's
All
been
right,
quiet.
guys. One last thing. Terrence, your prediction for Urs doing his debut in Italy this weekend. Where is he going to place?
I, I, I I don't know. I can't remember the list, but I know he's gonna be first call outs without a doubt in my mind. Like conditioning wise and like the lines he has in his physique, not a lot of open guys have, you know. So if he was able to maintain that, even though he's 30 pounds heavier this year, I think without a doubt. It's the big thing with Urs is did he bring up the weaknesses he had in classic like that? Like I think his triceps were a bit of a weakness in like his side poses. His back and his back double, he was a little. So I think if he was able to bring that up, an easy first call out. My pick to win is still Mark Hector, but no, without a doubt, I think Mark Urs can be in the mix for that top five, maybe like the around fifth place.
Even Mark is very confident in picking himself to win. He really is. And his
Yeah.
girl, I also said he's winning. He's winning.
I think like
He must be at his all-time best.
I saw him when I was in the UK after New York, and he was already crazy lean. You know, he was I posed with him on stage, and that's what made me really impressed by him, seeing him in person. You
Mm.
know, and I like when people are confident, man. I get being humble. I know because I get that, but I don't think at this show in particular, it's nothing wrong with him being confident in winning. You know,
Mhm. Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, this would be a show to do it, right?
Hmm.
The only competitors that's been to the Olympia in that whole lineup was the guy from France.
Ah. Maybe Sergio went one
Sergio
year.
was an
One
Olympian.
year. He won one show. He's won New York one. So
Oh,
like
right, but did he do the Olympia?
I don't
Yes, yes,
know.
he
I know
did
he
it.
won.
Yeah, but he won the New York, right. Back in 2018, 19, 18.
Something like that. Yeah, it's been a minute.
Yeah. Okay, so there's only two Olympians, yeah, on that stage.
Hmm.
Yeah, but this Theo guy wasn't it just last year when he was on the Olympia or 2 years ago?
It's somewhat recent. Yeah, and I think he got like close to last if I'm not mistaken though.
Had to be 16.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Theo
So
competed twice and didn't make a top 15.
okay.
So he did the Olympia twice already.
Yes, yeah, last two.
Okay.
I wonder who's going to do how's I just saw a picture of Regan, man. Regan looks great.
Yeah.
Yes, saw him in my house 2 days ago.
What is he doing? Is he
Yeah.
doing that show too?
No, he's
He,
getting
he, he, doesn't- he
Olympia.
has a new coach.
Qualified.
So I don't ask for those questions. He just looked good, and he said for the first time in his life he's super focused, and he knows that he has to step foot on the gas and bring the best.
Is
Yeah.
he doing these early qualifying for next year before the Olympia?
I have a feeling. I have
That's
a
the way he looked like. He looked like he's getting
Yeah.
ready to compete in like 2-3 weeks.
Hmm.
I mean, it's a good tryout run with the new coach before the Olympia and qualifying for next year. Yeah, makes sense.
But you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if Samson is doing another show before the Olympia.
What, to qualify?
No, not to qualify, just to
Fine
yeah.
tune.
Just to test. I mean, he tested what
did
he
the same
looked
thing
like.
last year.
Yeah, that was the right move. Now, after 6 weeks out, looking like this, does he really need to compare again? Now people are gonna start comparing. I don't think he need to, but never count him out.
Yeah. What if
He'll
he
have
does? And he just goes on stage and just obliterates the whole fucking lineup, Just like, hey, guys, just so you see what's happening.
That'd be great. I'd love to see it.
Maybe they want to try something new, when it comes to, the last couple of days, and that will be a trial. So, shit, I wish it would be fucking Germany. That shit.
Maybe
But
he'll do both.
But no, I think that because there's Poland, there's France, there's what else? There's I think one more isn't that one more in Italy?
Before the Olympia?
Yeah, but those are the qualifiers for next year.
Oh, okay.
The one that's the last one is my show is the last qualifier for this year. Everything else is
Okay.
for next year, 2026. All right, guys. Listen, Terrence, thank you, man, for making the time, brother. Man, go ahead. I know it's probably time to eat.
I gotta go meet a contractor at the gym we're opening.
Oh, okay. All right, my man.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you, man. Thank you, and God bless you, and
Great
go
thing.
kill it, brother.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you guys for having me on. You guys are legends, and it means a lot. It's always fun being able to chat with people you watched when you were a teenager, It's really cool.
Awesome. Awesome.
Congrats on the gym, by the way.
Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you.
So it's gonna be. What's the name of the gym?
I'm with the Dan Solomon's franchise. It's a Wolf Gym. Yeah.
Oh,
It's
Dan
called
has a
Wolf
gym
Gyms.
franchise.
Yeah, he's part owner. He doesn't run it, but he's part owner of Wolf Gyms. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Cool.
Congratulations. Go get it.
Thank you.
Go get it. Everybody's got their own gym now. Shit, I gotta get me one.
Yeah. I'm not rich enough to just have a private one like Urs and Chris and them, but I got enough to open one and make some money from it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Awesome. All
All
right,
right,
guys.
guys.
I appreciate y'all. Peace out.